this one. Sorry. Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, thank y'all for coming to our new office. For anybody, you guys are welcome to pop in, work here whenever you want to. We absolutely love it. So hope you do too. Make it your home. So excited to have Tina all the way from Cary. If you've not heard her speak yet, she's got an amazing story and such good wisdom to share. So again, so excited y'all are here, and I'm going to turn it over to Tina Caul.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Yay. Are we so excited to learn about prospecting today? Yeah. So I'm Tina Caul. I've been in the business for 21 years. For those that don't know me, I've been around the block a few times. I started my career in Michigan for the first 7 years, and 11 years ago now, I moved down to North Carolina, and I didn't know a soul, but I was armed with my newfound coach, who was Mike Ferry. And who knows Mike Ferry? Everybody knows Mike Ferry, right? Tom Ferry's dad. And so I didn't have leads and I didn't have a lot of money. And so all I had was Mike and his wisdom and the blind faith that it was going to work. And so I did something that was absolutely opposite of my personality. I'm a high I on the disc with an S, and I'm D under pressure, which is I'll do what I need to do to be successful. But it is against everything in my core to call people and get hung up on every single day, right? Who's with me on that? Yes. Okay. So just to get a feel of the room, who's been in the business 1 year or less? Raise your hand. 1 year or less. Oh, good. And then how about 1 to 3 years? 1 to 3. Okay. And then over 5. All the old people, raise your hand. Okay, good. Who loves to prospect? Any weirdos in the room? Loves? Annette Moore, the only one. One person. Okay. Who hates it? Okay. And who does it daily? Tell the truth. Daily, every single day. Every single day. Ooh, what? Oh, that's true. That's true. You're an ISA, so you have to do it every day. She's a weirdo. She's a weirdo. Thank God for our ISAs. Bless your heart. So I think that, what I'm going to start with today is, we could talk about prospecting all day long. We can go over scripts and dialogue till we're blue in the face. And then what's going to happen is you're all going to get pumped up and you're going to go, oh my God, that was so great. And you're going to go back to your office or your house or wherever your desk is. And you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to open up your computer and you're going to sit there and you're going to overthink it for 5 hours and you're going to do nothing that we talked about. And then you're going to go on about your daily business and nothing will change. And who has done that before? Everybody, because I've done it a lot. When I started prospecting, it was out of necessity. It was, I knew there had to be a better way because I let my business happen to me. So when we join the real estate world, we're told to call our sphere, right? Call your sphere and ask them to buy a home. Well, at some point you run out of sphere and not everybody's buying home every day. So the list of people you don't know is way bigger than the list of people that you know. And so I hired a real estate coach to get me over my fear. And for the first 2 months of my daily routine, I had to make 20 contacts a day. And so I would talk to my coach once a week, and once a week I would lie to my coach that I was making calls. Very true. 2 months went by and he was finally like, well, we role play and you're really good and you're not getting any appointments. I don't get it, because I was still learning the scripts and I was role playing with him. But I finally confessed and I said, I get to that moment where I'm going to dial the phone and I just can't do it. It's not in me. Is there a different way? It's like, if you want to be rich and you want to be really successful, you have to do this. You have to do what everybody is unwilling to do, because everybody moves towards comfort and nobody moves towards pain. And this was really moving towards pain, right? We all go for the easy. And the hard part is we're all adults and our moms and our dads are not there saying, you better make your calls today, better clean your room. So no one's coming for you. No one's coming to help you. It's on you. So finally what he did was he said, okay, we're going to call it for sale by owner right now. Like you're doing it now. Okay, fine. So I did. I pulled out my little script and we've got this little script book, and I called the for sale by owner and I said the first line and the guy answered me back and I went, oh my God. And then I asked him a second question and he answered the question. And then I hung up the phone on him. I literally said to my coach, I said, this shit works. And so it was those little baby beliefs that, got me over it. Like, it's going to be okay. Because I think we get in our head, we have drunk monkeys on our shoulder, right? And the little monkey's telling you, well, don't do that. Well, don't bother people. People don't want to be bothered by you. You hate it when people cold call you, don't you? You hang up the phone on them and you're annoyed for 2 seconds and you move on with life. Why would you want to be that person to anybody else? Who's had that thought in their head? Everybody. So that's the drunk monkey. That is fear, right? That is our fear convincing us not to do something, to go away from the pain. And so, but then on the other shoulder, you're like, yeah, but I'm broke and nobody's giving me leads. And I've called all my sphere and I've flyered the whole community, and there's got to be a better way because I need to make money for my family. And so you've got those two schools of thought. So what I'm going to start with today is, becoming the best and building a better you. We're going to talk about our mindset. So grab a pen, write these things down. And these are the things that got me through. And this is literally from my coach, my personal coach years ago. So we're going to start with that. And then what we're going to do after we get through these, points is we're going to talk about your setup, right? What is holding you back? Because the 3 P's holding you back are procrastination, perfectionism, right? We want to know everything before we go. You want to know before you go, and you have to go before you know. And then paralysis by analysis. Who has that? Yeah, all of us, right? So we're going to talk about how you're going to set up your rooms, what tools you need to start this awful process that I promise gets better. And then we're going to talk about accountabilities to get you guys in action. Because like I said, to sit here and talk about scripts and role play and dialogue, that comes after. The goal is the biggest challenge, getting you guys to actually pick up the phone and do something for your own life and change the trajectory of your business. So one of the most important things I learned is, it's generally 2 things that hold people back from being a great salesperson. And it's really just believing in yourselves, right? Believing that you can actually do this and become a really productive, skilled salesperson. And then believing that scripts and dialogue are okay. Because the reality is, I think a lot of us have that feeling like, well, we love people and I never meet a stranger and I can talk to anybody, right? I mean, we're all salespeople in our minds. But then when you put a script in front of us, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like me. That's just not me. I can't do that. But the reality is the script becomes you when you know the purpose of it and why you're saying it. And then eventually the script is in your brain and you don't have to think about it. And it just is very easy. So the first challenge that we all face is operating from a point of blind faith. So write down blind faith, right? And for me, like, what would be the advantage of me telling you guys to do something that doesn't work? I mean, we're all sitting here trying to learn, and I'm telling you from experience, this works, right? This is prospecting probably made me over $8 million. I've added it up, trust me. And my education to prospect cost me about 250 grand. I paid a coach, accountability partners in the last 10 years, $250,000 to sit up here today to tell you that this works. And everyone's going to leave and maybe one of you will do it, the ISA. Get paid to do it, right? Because it's painful, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. So have blind faith, right? We're trying to teach you this because it actually does work. Is it easy? No. It's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's probably one of the things you'll be most proud of because you'll go, I did it. I was the weirdo, right? I was the anomaly. Because bless you, most people are going to walk out and not do it. So the second thing is forgetting your past failures. So write down forgetting the past failures because you can't change them. If you ever tried to prospect before and you picked up the phone and it just didn't work, or someone hung up on you, get rid of that thought in your head, right? Or, you watch somebody do it in your office and they look like they were having a not so good time. Whatever it is, whatever your past failure was, forget them and just try to move forward. Get to something new and get to something exciting and look at the positive of what this will bring you. So definitely forget the past. 3, this is very, very important. Develop a positive support group, right? So we all here in our Freedom Builders world at EXP, we talk about having mastermind groups. So because we're all financially incentivized to be with one another, we have those two days a week, right? We have our Monday mastermind, which is 350 team leaders that get together throughout the nation. We teach each other how to build teams and answer questions. So if you're not on that call, you should be, right? That's a support group. And then our Fridays at 11, and then now are Wednesdays at 10:15. Just kidding. We need to make those 11. So you want a positive support group. That way everything's the same. So pick a friend, go into our group and say, hey, okay, I went to Tina's thing and I'm going to prospect. And so who's going to do it with me? And then every day you all get on a Zoom call and you mute yourselves and then you just do your prospecting. Maybe you leave yourselves unmuted. And then when a person gets a call or gets a live person on the line, everybody else mutes themselves and you listen and then you give each other feedback. You need a support group for this. You will not get through this without a support group. My support group was my coach that called me every week and called me a liar, basically, if I didn't do my job. And we'll talk a little bit further about role play accountability partners. So I set accountabilities that if I didn't show up, I had to pay $1,000. So I showed up because I didn't have a lot of $1,000 to give at the time. So you need that support group. You tell them your ideas and you talk about your struggles, and that pushes you. I know we just talked about this, Annette, right? Having people around you that have the same goal, same vision, and same dream is helpful because there's this unified front, right? That we're doing this together. Number 4, you must learn to set small, achievable goals, right? So just getting out of bed and getting to the office on time, give yourself some grace and say, wow, I did this today. I showered, I worked out, and I got to the office. You turned on your laptop and you got your little system to prospect. That's a win, right? You made your first call. That's a win. Those are little tiny achievable goals. You can't have all these little wins and then have one failure and then be bummed out, right? So just keep telling yourself, I'm winning. These are the things I need to do today. If I did 10 out of the 20, I'm winning, right? So I'm halfway there. So set those small goals so you can accomplish the bigger goal. And always be looking for small victories. So I remember when I was prospecting, I gave myself small victory points if I closed 2 or 3 times on the phone, right? I used to have little pennies, 10 pennies. And my coach would say, every time you close, like meaning asking for the appointment, you push a penny forward. So I needed that visual. So I could just see like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing things that make me really uncomfortable right now. And so all those little small achievable goals will help you guys get through these little victories. All right. So number 6, recognize that having doubts is normal and it's healthy, but just don't focus on them, right? I mean, we all have our doubts and we all have our fears, but you can't focus on those, right? You got to figure out how to move past those fears and you become what you think about most of the time. If you're just sitting there thinking about how awful this is going to be, and you don't take that action, it's going to hurt. Mel Robbins talks about, who's heard of the 5-second rule, right? That really does help. So counting backwards, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and just resetting your brain to, stop the thought process of the fear, whatever else is going to happen or what they're going to say. So if you get to that moment where you guys are going to leave and get on the phones, I would count backwards and then just start. I think that's going to be really helpful. All right, so let's see. The next one is stop questioning what you're being taught and start doing something about it. There are thousands of people that do this every single day, right? We are a sales environment first. You are in sales. And a lot of times we're convincing ourselves that we're not salespeople. We love to help people. But that's fine. But at the end of the day, you got to fall in love with the language of sales. You got to fall in love with listening to podcasts about sales. Your job is to move somebody from their own madness into a decision that's best for them. We're not using sales to be icky, creepy salespeople that are getting people to buy something they don't need. We're doing it to get them over the fears and whatever else is going on in their mind in a professional way. And that needs to be learned, right? And because we are sales people. So think about, if you go to the Mike Ferry organization, you go to a conference, all those people are doing this activity daily. And so that was my people. I was like, okay, I need to be around these people. They're the weirdos. And then I would go back to my office and nobody would be doing it, but yet they'd knock on my door and say, what are you doing in there? How are you getting all those listings? Oh, I prospect. Here's what I do. Let me show you. And I would show everybody at my Remax office. I'd invite them in and they go, I don't want to do that every day. Okay, well then don't. It's fine, And it wasn't a secret because they thought I had secrets. There were no secrets, right? The secret is hard ass work that you're doing every single day that you hate, but it provides the results. All right. So let's see. Oh, be careful spending time with people who are downtrodden. Earl Nightingale says this all the time. We're not in the business of uplifting the downtrodden. There are a lot of people that you surround yourself with, if you think about it, that are going to poo-poo this idea. Don't call people. What about the do not call list? What about this? What about that? They'll put every fear in your brain because they don't have the gumption to do it, right? So it's just a bad idea to them. And so think about who you spend your time with, and then really try to focus on finding the people that want to do this. Even though there's a few of us, find those people. So I would say be very careful. I had to actually, when I started prospecting 12 years ago, and I was still in Michigan, I literally had people in my office that were like, what are you doing in there? And they were so negative about it. My coach said, do not go to the office and prospect, go home, get in your office, stand up every day. You know, at that time we didn't have Zoom. We would call our accountability partners. I don't even think we had speakerphone. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But anyway, we would push each other in a different way, but we had to literally hide ourselves because people would be like, you call expireds? How dare you call a listing from another agent that expired? Well, what else is going to happen, right? Somebody has to call them. And if I'm the best agent for the job, why wouldn't I? That agent, for whatever reason, I'm sure they tried their hardest, but it didn't work. So that seller is going to pick another agent. Why not get in the way? Right? I mean, why not give me the opportunity to get in front of that seller? Because in my mind, I'm the best agent for the job. So I just have to pick up the phone and convince the seller to give me 15 minutes of their time so I can get the appointment. So I would have those negative experiences because you'd have the chatter. It was because agents were not confident enough, or they just didn't believe in that activity. So you have to remove yourself if you're not in an environment that's going to help you guys do this. So be very careful about that. Okay. Let's see. There are no magic answers. They would say that, you know, people want, all of us, right? Who thinks social media is like the way to get listings and buyer sales right now? Get on social media, right? Everyone promotes that. If you go to, and I did this for my team, if you look at some of the top influencers on social media that have thousands and thousands and thousands of people, right? And they're selling their social media courses. You go to their Zillow, they haven't sold a house, or maybe two, you know. But the problem with social media is, again, I don't know where the deals are coming from. I don't know who's on social media that day. And I promise you, even you all know that I'm pretty big on social media now. I rarely get deals from social media, right? So for me, social media is an audience builder. It's your business card. If somebody goes to your social media account, they better see a professional on there. You know, you could be silly, show your personality, but it is not a duplicatable activity that I can go say, if I post 3 times a week, I'm going to get a listing. But I know if I call 5 people a day, 5 days a week, and I continue that activity, I'm going to get some deals. That is a duplicatable, absolute fact that you will run into a listing or a buyer because you are doing something very aggressive and you're calling the highest, you know, the leads that are the most, what's the word I need? Most motivated, right? The most motivated leads. That's a seller that their home failed to sell. And it's a for sale by owner that wants to sell. They just don't want to pay us a commission. So what do we have to do? Get really good at our value proposition. Or it's calling around in a neighborhood or in a home that you just sold, or your EXP brokerage just sold. Hey, this is Tina. We just sold a home in your neighborhood and we have literally 13 buyers looking to buy right now. Who do you know, Mr. Seller, that's looking to buy in your area or looking to sell? Oh, nobody. Oh gosh, thank you for thinking about that. You know, I'm just curious, since we're on the phone, because nobody answered today except you. I'm curious, like, how long have you lived, right? She's shaking her head, the ISA. How long have you lived in this home? Oh, we've lived here for 20 years. Really, 20 years. Where did you move from? We came from Florida. Really, from Florida? What brought you to Clayton, North Carolina? Oh, well, my grandkids, you know, they moved here. And so we wanted to see them grow and, you know, whatever. And then you just say, well, gosh, if you were ever to move again, would you go back to Florida or would you just downsize into something different? And they're either going to say, no, I'm going to die here. You're going to bury me in the yard. Or, you know, actually, funny thing, the grandkids are grown now and we thought we would move back to Florida. You just have to dig and ask questions and talk to humans and think, you know, act like you care. And that's a conversation. That's a win. That is a lead. So now I have a little friend and then I could say, hey, Cliff, you know, my gosh, it's been so good talking to you. if you don't have a friend in real estate, I'm a high performance realtor, I'm a professional, I won't bug you, but what I will do is, if you don't mind, do I have your permission to call you once a year and just give you an update on the value of your asset? They all say yes. And you go, great, thanks, Phil. Then you send them a little note card, and then you just keep that guy in your database, right? And you drip on him. That's where video is powerful. Now I'm going to send Phil 2 videos a month about the market. He can unsubscribe, but usually they don't, right? They're getting something of value, or I could end the conversation and say, hey, Phil, it's been so good talking to you today. The market's so hot. Have you ever thought about maybe pulling money out of one of your assets, maybe this house or another house, and buying an investment property? Have you ever thought about diversifying your assets? I'm going to dig and just really be an advisor at that point and see if I can help this guy. And that's just from a cold call in a neighborhood, right? I mean, who feels they can do that? It's not that hard. It's just that the hard is getting the schedule down to actually get in and do the things every single day, right? So when you're focused, you can definitely do that. So there's no magic answers. This is just going to take work, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be great. Nobody is born successful. That's what my coach would say. No one's born successful. You don't come out of the womb successful. You're just a baby, right? Everything big starts small, and it's who we surround ourselves with. And it's the activities that we do on a daily basis that makes us successful. So you can learn that success if you emulate other people that are doing it the way you want to do it. You could leave today and go, I will never do that. I know I'm not going to do that. And that's fine, right? That's okay. But if I could get 5 of you to do it, I know it'll change your life. It'll change your business. So if you're sitting here going, I am struggling right now, I hope those 4 or 5 people actually do this. And I'm more than happy to help. You can reach out to me anytime. It will change your life. But it's going to be hard. All right. Behaving like you are in business for yourself, because you are. And he would always say, being an independent contractor is a double-edged sword, because if you work for a corporation and I said to you, I'm going to pay you $300,000 a year, but you have to show up at 9, be here till 5, you get 1 hour for lunch. And I need you to be on these calls every single day, but I'm going to pay you $300,000. Most people would take that role, right? Everybody's shaking their head. Yeah, I'll do it, right? 300 grand. What if I paid you 500 grand? Would everybody do it? What about $1 million? That's the pay for this awful work. That is the pay. So think about that. But you're your own boss, and no one is paying you to do it, and no one's holding you accountable. So therefore, it's a double-edged sword. I want to be in business for myself. Awesome. You're not doing anything that a business person would do because no one's holding you accountable. So it's such a hard thing to hold yourself to those standards of a $500,000 producer. If I'm going to pay you $500,000, you're going to do something hard, right? You're going to be a CEO. You're going to have things to do all day. So if your sellers and buyers were following you guys around with a camera, would they be so thrilled at your production and performance, or would they be crying? I feel like some would be crying, right? So think about that, because that's what you want to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. But then when you look at your daily schedule, you're like, well, I'm not performing that way. I didn't set up my life in that way. So you don't deserve that kind of pay if you're not willing to do the hard, right? And that's what I would think to myself. This is going to be hard, but I want to make $1 million a year. I was making 150,000 before I discovered this, and it was fine. And I was so thrilled and happy. And that was a lot of money. And then the market crashed to 40,000. I was making 40,000 a year. That was not fine, because I had learned to live off 150. So then I had to jump into this, and that's where I jumped into it, back against the wall. Usually we don't do something really hard unless our back is up against the wall and we're like, well, shoot, I have to do this now. So that was it for me. Behave like you were getting paid what you think you deserve. So everybody write down the number that they want to make this year on their paper. What do you want to make? Is it 100,000? Is it 300,000? Is it $1 million? And then we're going to later write out the schedule for a performer that way. So if you are making 50,000 or 30,000 or 20,000, or you're not making what you deserve, I would really look at what you're doing every day, and nobody would hire you. I'm the most unemployable person right now, right? My schedule is not anywhere like it should be to, do this activity anymore, but the business is different. So I want you guys to think about that. All right, I think we got last couple here. Getting your ego out of the way. That's the hard one. Get our ego out of the way. Because a lot of us are like, well, I'm just too good to make cold calls. I'm not going to do that. I'm not, this is not me. I'm not a creepy salesperson. I'm not doing that. So that's just our ego talking. That's our ego comforting us to say that, we're too good for this. And it's not. You're just really, when you come from a place of, I really want to help. These people need me. I know I can make a for sale by owner way more money. And the hard part is a lot of us right now in this room thinking about working with a for sale by owner, you don't know why they would pay you a commission. And that's why you don't want to call them, because when they say, well, why would I pay you 6%? I could just sell it myself. And you're like, yeah, you can, because the market's so hot. And when you think that way, you're definitely not going to convince this person that they need you. So it's learning the skills and the activities to say, no, I am going to make them more money. So there's a way to show them that, but it has to start with the belief that you can do that. And so that's where, for me in the beginning, I had to build the belief and the confidence that I could actually make a for sale by owner more money than themselves. So keeping your ego out of the way is huge. Remember, you get what you deserve and nothing more. Right? So if you walk around going, well, I'll never get that listing. Well, I'll never be able to cold call. I'll never be able to do this or that. Well, that's what you're going to get. Right? But there was something in me that felt that I deserved more. I grew up in a poor family, but for whatever reason, I was like, no, I'm not going to live that life. I deserve more. So if these people over here, these weirdos, if they're talking about doing this activity every single day and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then over here, my broker and all these people, love them, all amazing people, but not one had the life that I wanted. And they were all complaining because the market was crashing and they didn't know how to help themselves. I'm going to go with these weirdos that figured it out. Right. And even though they're doing the hard things, I knew I had to jump into that. So that was huge. So I wanted to, I felt that I deserved more. This one's really hard, defeating complacency. I think a lot of us are so complacent in our lives. We're happy with where it's at, right? We're happy in the car we drive and the money in the bank. And so if you're absolutely complacent and you're satisfied, you are definitely not going to leave this room today and go make cold calls. Just not happening, right? So there has to be some pain point where you're like, nope, I'm going to learn this activity. I'm going to do it. I have these big goals and I'm not going to be complacent. So even for me today, I tried to get out of complacency because I could easily just say, well, why am I doing all this? Why am I going to teach these people this thing? I could just sit at home and eat bonbons at this point, right? After a decade, I could. And that's amazing. But for me, it's that would be complacent. I don't have any purpose then. My purpose now is I can come and maybe shed some light in someone's brain and help them. And they leave going, wow, I'm inspired and I'm going to go do this. And then they do it. And that's cool, right? So I don't have any fear of everyone in this room. There is enough business for everyone, even though our market is crazy cuckoo right now. Homes are still selling, right? People are still buying. It's just, you got to get in the way of the transactions. All right. So the last thing, developing strong practice skills. So when you think about a singer or a dancer or an actor or an athlete, think about the hours that it took them to get to where they are, right? So the high performance people, they're the ones that are constantly practicing. I mean, my son on the varsity basketball team, he doesn't get to play a lot, right? He's not first string, but he is practicing his butt off every single day for that 30 seconds that we get to see him play in the game. We're like, yeah, but that's the time that he better shine, because his coach is not going to give him those 30 seconds or minute or whatever he gets. So how much practice are you guys doing as skilled sales professionals every single day? Are you just going through the motions, staying at the same level that you're at? Or are you saying, no, I gotta learn new skills. I have to practice. Because the reality is nobody's an overnight success. Nobody. And so you might look at me up here and go, well, but she's been doing it a long time. And now what? Nope. I mean, I wrote down, I have been doing this for 7,300 nights. A lot of nights. 175,000 hours of practice, right? That's my whole career. That's a lot of hours. So you can't compare a 20-year career to a year or two in. You just can't. And there's going to be some confidence that grows. There's going to be things that grow, things I know. I'm always learning. I'm a weirdo. I love to learn new things. I'm constantly reading about scripts and dialogue, listening to sales calls, listening to podcasts still. Why? Because my world was changed with sales. It literally gave me everything. And I believe that we all can benefit from being good salespeople. Our kids can benefit from being good salespeople. You know, I want my son to get his real estate license, regardless of what he does. He should get it. He should have it. He's going to have to sell himself on some interview somewhere, sometime, or maybe one day he'll become an entrepreneur, and I would be so proud of that. So that is the mindset. And I wanted to start with that because I think that, you know, like I said, if we just started with scripts and dialogue, it doesn't matter because you're just going to leave and do nothing, because I was that person that left and did nothing. All right. So any questions about that? Let's just, anybody have like something in their mind that, or maybe an aha, or maybe you want to just confess about starting prospecting and giving up too quickly. Like, who has a little story? Anybody? Come on.
I'll go.
You go. Good. Right.
So, Sean McFarland, everybody. Been in real estate for about 4 years. First 2 years, I was working part-time. I did UPS. This year is actually the first year I actually became a real estate agent. I feel like I hired a coach. I went through all the motions of actually making the calls and feeling that hurt and pain. And the main reason why I'm here is to actually just try to get better. And I feel like I sit down and listen to like YouTube videos of like Ricky Cruz, like making phone calls and laughing and stuff. And it's finally giving me that feeling of, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, one day it might be 1 hour and then I get like a crappy call where somebody's just like, why the fuck are you calling? You have a horrible job.
Right.
and then those people are the people that I'm just like, but then recently I had that call.
Yeah.
And then what I did was I texted the guy back. I was like, man, are you having an okay day?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And I think I came off a little strong on you. And I'm so sorry. And I was just like, well, you know, it's okay. If you need something, please let me know. And he was like, man, you really do got a crappy job. Yeah. And he texted me back and he was like, yeah, I do, but it only takes one person, you know, out of my 300 calls to make something happen. He's just like, well, that's great to know. You know, I don't need help right now, but I'll think about it.
Exactly.
And, you know, even with that, just being scared to even get back on the phone and just text him, it made me get back on the phone because like, he could have ruined my day or I could keep going. So.
And that's the callback apology. That's a, you know, when you call back and you show somebody you're human, you know, I'm so sorry, Sean, you know, maybe I caught you on a bad day, but I just want to apologize for messing up your day 5 minutes ago, or send them a text. They will apologize. You will have them in your hand forever, right? Yep. Because people naturally don't want to be rude, but for whatever reason, they are in that moment. It's not your fault. You didn't do that to them, you know, and then you just move on. They forgot you the minute they hung up on you.
My coach calls it the reflex no.
Yeah, it's a reflex no.
Automatically, they tell you no the first thing they're going to do because they don't want anything to do with you until you finally ask the next question.
Well, I'm proud of you. That is amazing. Congratulations. Because it is tough, but that doesn't happen every day either, right? I mean, I remember cold calls where I would call and they're like, you're the only agent that's called me. Get over here and list my home. That was a Country Club Hills listing for $650,000 about 6-7 years ago. And he was like, nobody called me. My home's off the market. He said, hey, over here and list this home, young lady. And I was like, coming. 2 minutes. And that was a great listing. So you get the wins, right? They're not all hard. Sometimes you just win, but you're fishing. You're fishing every day. Your job is to go make things happen, right? So where do we start? So this is the setup. I'm going to give you guys the setup of now you're going to leave and go, okay, where do I start? Well, the setup is you need some sort of stand-up desk. The desks that are in front of you are perfect. They go up, they go down. I think they're automated. You can get one on Amazon for like what, April, 150 bucks? These desks, are these desks 150 bucks each? I don't know. Sure. 150 bucks. So you get a stand-up desk, you've got a monitor, you've got your laptop, you've got a computer of some sort. You have a mirror. You want to have a mirror in front of you because you want to be smiling and making sure that your face matches your tonality. And I don't care who you are, if you smile more on video or you smile on the phone, they're going to hear it. They're going to see it. It's going to make them feel better. You want a good headset. So I used to use a Plantronics headset. I think they're still great today. You can use your little ear, Apple earbuds, whatever. I like the headset myself because I liked just one ear covered, so I can hear myself. And then you want a board of scripts in front of you and some sort of like, maybe book with scripts, but I liked all my scripts out. I wanted to have my past client scripts. I wanted to have my circle dialing scripts for new listings. I wanted to have my expired, my for sale by owner, any kind of script that I heard about. I wanted it in front of me so I didn't get, I didn't have to fumble through things. And then you want to stand up. You want a little dry erase board too, but you want to stand up when you're prospecting. You always want to have that energy, when you're on a call with someone and, you're pacing back and forth, that nervous energy comes out. And it feels better than sitting down and not being able to use your body. So I always stood up during prospecting sessions. That was just a non-negotiable for me because I felt better and it helped me. Even sometimes I would jump like 20 times before I got on the phone, right? And I would say, I'm a powerful agent. I'm a powerful agent. I'm going to get an appointment. I mean, I was a weirdo. Imagine doing that in your office, like at Remax. Not happening. So we were like, she is nuts. But the reality is I had to psych myself up for the game, right? This is like when you go into sports game, what do? They warm up. You got to warm up. You got to get excited about it. The systems that we can use. So there are systems that you need, an investment in RedX or Land Voice. You have to pull numbers from somewhere and they have to keep coming. So what's nice is, let's say I live in McGregor right now, and I want to pull all of McGregor. I want to pull all of Lockmere, all of Regency, all of Preston. And I just want to focus on those 4 neighborhoods. And I want to dominate those neighborhoods. Every time a home is being sold in those neighborhoods, I don't care who sells it. It could be Linda Trevor. On my first listing I ever got, Linda Trevor sold a home in the neighborhood. I was a new agent in town. I was like, well, these people sell homes. So I just called around all of her listings and she knows that. And I would say, hi, because I was at Remax, so was she. We just sold a home, the collective community of realtors. We just sold a home in your area and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, blah, blah, blah. We have buyers. Who do you know that might be thinking of selling? And I would make those calls all the time. And people would just say, well, you know what? I'm actually interviewing agents. Come on over. And that was my first listing ever. And so I didn't know where I was. I didn't know how to get out of neighborhoods without my GPS on. I knew how to sell homes in Michigan, but I could read comps. I mean, it wasn't rocket science. And I had my scripts. I could go into every listing appointment. I'm going to say the same thing every single time. It's just more efficient, right? And so you might change a little bit, but it was efficient. So I could take that skill today. You could drop me in any town USA, give me a dialer and a phone and a budget of maybe $500 a month. And if you have somebody that's going to try to compete with me on social media or flyering and mailing postcards and all that, I'm going to win. It's just faster. It's faster to build the business this way because you got to get in front of people. So, so if you want to build your business slower, it's going to be through relationships and referrals and all that, which is wonderful. I didn't have time to build it slow, right? So I needed to get there fast. So RedX and Land Voice, Vulcan 7. Vulcan 7 is a dialer. Mojo dialer. So either of those you can explore. They're all different prices, but all are great. I've used every single one of these systems. And then Caul Realty Resource. Caul Realty Resource. Are there any other resources right now for pulling neighborhood information? There probably are. I just used Caul. Does anyone? Spokio.
Phone numbers, email addresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like $19 a month.
$19 a month, Spokio. Caul Realty, I think, is $900 for the year or something like that. And that allows me to pull numbers in all neighborhoods that I want to target, right? So you're going to need those systems. So you've got your setup, you've got your systems. You need some sort of CRM. Now, I'm kind of funny. I'm not a big CRM girl. If I did it today and I was still prospecting, I would, we use KV Core because we get it for free, right? So most of you have KV Core. You want to put these people in some sort of drip campaign because 70% of the appointments that you make are going to be from lead follow-up. It's not going to be that first contact. Oh, yay, come over and list my home. Not happening. It's going to be from you following up. So if somebody says, I'm thinking of selling, but it's going to be 6 months from now, I'm putting them in a drip campaign and I am getting in front of them probably once a month by some little video. And then I'm calling them in 3 months and I'm giving them some sort of information, right? I'm bringing them value like, hey, Susie, I know that you said you're moving in 6 months, but did you hear about the 4 homes that just sold in your neighborhood, I just want to make sure as your potential advisor, I keep you up to date on what's going on in your neighborhood. And then you give them the 3 comps or whatever. And so are your plans still to be, you know, moving? Well, actually, no, we're moving it up a little faster. Oh, okay. You know, you're just staying in front of them. I usually cut in half the time that they say. So if they say a year, I'm really hounding them between 4 and 6 months, because I want to be the constant in their life. So when they make that decision, they're coming to me instead of, you know, the agent that disappeared when they sold them their home 10 years ago. Right. So, so CRM for all of you in here, because I know there's a lot of you that don't like CRMs. I'm going to give you a little card, a little trick that I used. I would buy a little index card file box from Staples, buy my little index cards, and I would buy the little tabs. I would buy the little 12 tabs, and I would label them January, February, March, April, May, right through December. And then I would have little tabs of 1 through 31, right, for the dates of the month. So today is what, February 2nd. I got a lead, and the lead said, oh, I'm not going to be moving till July. So I'm going to write on the note card how I met them. Were they FSBO? Were they expired? Were they circle dialing? Little notes about our conversation. So that way I can remember. And then I'm going to put them, if they say July, I might put them, let's see, February, March, April, May, June, July. I might put them in April, right? And I'll take that little note card, that little index card, I'll put it in April. So when April comes, I might have 6 or 7 or 8 little note cards to follow up with, right? So that is like, even if you don't like CRMs, and I know there's a lot of you that do not use them, that is a great way. That's all I did to make $1 million a year. I had a little index card file box because I hate computers and CRMs. I'm just not that way. My brain works. I like paper. And so you can still make it that simple and use that index card file box system, which sounds hilarious. Okay, daily schedule. Let's talk about your schedule. So remember, you all want to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. So what's your daily schedule? So I'll give you what mine was. My daily schedule was between 7:15 and 7:30. I was driving to work. 7:30, I got to the office, and between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, I role played with 5 different role play partners per week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I had, Justin on day 1. I had Michelle Sayward in Michigan, day 2, whatever. And we would work on what each other wanted to work on. It was fast. It wasn't, hi, Michelle, how's your dog? What happened yesterday? It's, hey, what are you working on today? I'm working on FSBOs. All right, be really tough on me with the FSBOs. This is what I'm tripped up on. It's this objection, because during the week, as I'm doing my job and I'm prospecting, I'm writing down the things that I get stumped on. So I can do what? Practice the things that are getting me stumped. So then she would say, okay, let's do this. And then we would go for maybe 15 minutes to do my one role play and work on my stuff. And then for the other 15 minutes, we're working on her stuff. And then it's like, all right, break, text me when you get your contacts in, because my contact goal was 20 contacts a day. That was mine. Now, for all of you just starting, I'm going to give you a different goal. 5 for 5. Just remember 5 for 5. If you leave here today and you call and have 5 conversations, I don't care if you call your past clients, start with them. 5 conversations per day, 5 days a week. I don't care what days, I don't care what times, but your goal as a real estate professional is to talk to 5 people a day. That's 25 people a week. It's about 100 people plus a month. It's about 1,300 contacts a year. 1,300 contacts. If you can close 10% of those, which is high, it's 130 people, right? If you can close half of that, that's pretty awesome. If you can close a third of that. But the goal is I have to have conversations with other people about real estate or I'm not going to get ahead. So 5 for 5 is what I would suggest for you guys. So 7:30 to 8 is role play. That's practice time. If I didn't show up for a 7:30 role play call, I had to pay $1,000. So we were very serious. Why? Because this is very painful. It's not fun. And so you have to give yourself a pain point that's really going to hurt. And for me, $100, oh, if I don't show up, it's $100. That might be painful, but I might miss for $100. I don't know. I mean, especially as you can start affording $100 more. You're like, yeah, it's just $100. I don't feel like it. 1,000, I don't care how rich you are, $1,000 hurts just for not showing up on time, right? So give yourself a pain point. I think it's money. I think that makes a lot of us hurt and we're in pain when we give that up. So I would say do what makes you feel good or makes you feel bad, actually. Then 8 to 10 was my time to make my 25 contacts. So you should be able to make 5 contacts per hour. So if you're starting now, I mean, I used to do, 3 hours of cold calling because we wanted to make $1 million a year. But if you're just going to do 5 for 5, I would say every hour, or I'm sorry, 5 days a week for an hour a day, just 1 hour. And if you make your contacts, you're at number 4 and it's been an hour, we'll stay for another 30 minutes. What else do you have to do if you have nothing going on, right? No pendings. So 8 to 10, I did my 25 contacts. 10 to 11, I would call past clients in Sphere. 11 to 12, I would check my emails. So that was my break time where I could, go to the distractions that don't make you money. 12 to 1:30, I took lunch and I did a mindset break. So I would, listen to a podcast, whatever. I just wanted to be alone, not on the phones, not on my phone, and focus. And then 1:30 to 2, I would return calls and texts. 2 to 3, I would preview property 2 times a week. So if you're an agent in the market right now and you're newer, it's a great habit for an hour a day to go preview property. And especially today, you could take out your little fancy video phone, and be like, hey, everybody, it's Tina. I'm just waiting for a client in this house, but I wanted to show you how beautiful it is. Take a look at this. And you're showing people the house. If you do that every day and you're a newer agent and you're not selling homes, guess what? Your sphere is going to be like, wow, they are rocking it. You are so busy. You are just so busy all the time. What's going to happen? Because here's the thing. If you're newer, your sphere is not going to use you because they know you're new and they know what you do every day. And don't take offense when they don't, right? But if they see you in the field every day, rocking it, wow, maybe Sheila's, maybe she's on it. She's on to something. Perception is everything. So I would say get in the habit of touring new home communities, right? We need to know where all those new home communities are. So spend an hour a day doing that. And then 3 to 6, you're going on appointments, right? That's your appointment time. If I didn't have appointments, sometimes I would just go home because I was just exhausted and I put in the work. Sometimes I would actually be inspired and I would just make more calls. So it's up to you. But literally my coach would say, if you do your morning, your 7:30 to 1:30, if you do that every day, go home at 1:30 if you don't have appointments. I don't care. Go get a massage. His goal was for us to have consistency and accountability and do the practice where, you're building your business. 80% of your job is to build your business and do income producing activities. And 20% should be servicing. And what we all tend to do is 20% is the business building sometimes or less. And 80% is emails and talking to clients and going to inspections and feeling very busy, but nothing is getting done because the money is already made. When you're at inspection, that money is typically already made. And now you're just in servicing mode. So, all right. And then my wins. I would give my wins for a listing appointment, a buyer appointment. If I got a signed contract, buyer or seller contract, that would be a win. If I signed agency agreement with a buyer, that was a win. If I got a price reduction. So, I wasn't always in this awesome market. So we needed to do price reductions back in the day. Who's a realtor who's never done a price reduction on a listing? That's awesome. They're not fun. They're not fun. And then if I hit my contact goal, so I would give myself a little point system so I could feel like I was winning, even though I didn't, do some of the things that I wanted. So I would say, before you leave today, we should probably challenge everybody to say, okay, we'll start a Facebook group that's 5 for 5, right? And if you want to get into that Facebook group, you're going to commit to making 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week. And maybe we do like where you just go in every day and you go, okay, I'm committed. And you say whether you did it or not. And if you don't do it, you get kicked out of the group. And if you do it, you stay in the group. But I mean, you need to do something. So I think I was thinking about that on the way here. We start a 5 for 5 Facebook group because again, you can leave being inspired or leave being freaked out going, well, that sounds terrible and I'm never doing it. And that's okay. There are other ways to build your business. This is probably one of the most foolproof ways. It's one of the ways that you will never go hungry. It's one of the ways that you can help people and they're so thankful. You help a for sale by owner and they're so thankful that you got them more than they even thought. An expired listing, you went in there and you told them what to really do, or that their home was overpriced or whatever, and you are their new hero, and you're going to get a lot of great connection. And it's been so rewarding for me to have learned that skill. Today, if I had to jump on the phone and make calls, I mean, it would be second nature for me. And we'll do that right now. What is our time, Tim?
It is 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, we'll do part two. We'll do part two. What was that? Okay, well, what I'll do is we'll do, who has called and expired before? Anybody? Yeah, you want to role play this? Let's role play this. Come on. Come on. Bring your little stool over here. We'll do this real quick. All right, so I'm gonna take you gotta come on camera. They gotta see you. We're famous now, we're on camera. All right. So here's the thing, I mean, he's newer at it, right? And do you want to be the seller or do you want to be the agent?
Let me see the master at work.
No, I'm not the master. I am the rustiest master you're ever gonna see, but, okay. So what we'll do is, I'll do an expired script, be nice to me. And, because I haven't made one of these in years, but you'll see that it's just, it's just comfortable. Okay, ready? Okay, ring, ring.
Hey.
Hey, I was calling about the property for sale on Apple Lane. Is this the owner?
Yes, it is.
Oh, perfect. My name's Tina. What's your name?
Sean.
Hey, Sean. So Sean, I'm a local real estate agent. I noticed your property came off the market, which is so crazy to me because the market's just so amazing. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you honestly think stopped it from selling?
That damn agent.
Well, I'm sure they did everything in their power to get it sold. Let me ask you, Sean, if you had sold it and you were moving, where were you going to go next?
I was planning on going to Florida.
Florida. Well, that's exciting. What brings you to Florida?
I love Disney World.
You love Disney World. That's amazing. In terms of your time frame, how soon were you hoping to be in Disney?
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months. Okay, so you have time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I have to tell you honestly, I'm a little confused. I mean, really, your home is in amazing condition from what I can see. You're in a really hot neighborhood, and we are in the hottest real estate market of all time. So what do you really honestly think stopped it from selling?
I think it was the price. I believe it was a little high. And, the agent never told me if it was too high. He just wrote down whatever he said that I could have. And I told him 800,000 and nobody came.
Got it. So the agent, maybe, maybe he got a little greedy, right? Because the market's so good and he thought he could get you more.
I think so.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the good news. Last month, right here in our area, we sold over 350 homes in Cary. That's a lot of homes. So we know homes are selling. So there's definitely people buying and selling. And the truth is, you just need maybe an aggressive strategy to get you there this time and really have a professional give you the right pricing plan. So how about we do this? And I really wouldn't mind. I'm actually going to be in your neighborhood later today, meeting with a couple that is going through the same challenge. Why don't I pop over for 15 minutes? I'll show you what we do differently to get homes sold in this market. And then you can decide if that's the strategy for you. Either way, we'll shake hands. We'll move on as friends. What do you think?
That works for me.
Okay, that is literally how easy it is. I mean, people are that, most of the time they're this easy. Sometimes they're harder. What are you going to do so differently? Right? What are you going to do so differently? Yeah. Well, Mr. Seller, it's like giving you a haircut over the phone. I've got to see your home and then I got to show you our plan, right? I mean, until I can get there and actually see your property, I won't know how to market it, but I would love to meet with you. Again, no obligation. I'm right now, I have 10 listings and I usually only keep about 10. So I don't even know if I can list your property. That's a takeaway. I don't know if I can list it. I don't know if I have time for it, but I'm going to be in your neighborhood. I'm always in their neighborhood and I'm always meeting with another couple. Always. Always.
I have a question.
Yes.
What do you do if you're the last person on an expired?
You get the listing.
No, you know what?
I'm kidding.
I'm like, so I know if you start calling expires from 8
Mhm.
to about 9, you're probably on the fresh line of people.
Oh, if you mean, if you're
Yeah,
the
if you're
third,
like the
fourth,
last
fifth
person,
caller.
you're the irritated, the
Mhm.
last person that's the
Mhm.
most irritating person.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you do with that?
I think, well, if they're not giving you an appointment, okay, so that I would still use that. I would say, Sean, you're probably so irritated because how many calls have you had today?
30.
30 calls. I'm embarrassed. Do you know there are 20,000 real estate agents in the Triangle? And 30 are working today?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sad for. So then, right? And then you go, listen, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know you're probably stressed out. I would be. I'm annoyed that only 30 people in our profession called you today. I would hire one of us 30. But I would love to pop over. I'm actually going to be in your neighborhood, and that's why I called you, because I want to pop over for 15 minutes, right? Show you exactly what I do differently in this market to get your home sold, because obviously this is a huge asset. You have a lot of money on the line. And I want to make sure that you have all the information you need to make a great decision this time. What do you say?
I gotta write that one down.
Okay. I mean, you can diffuse people all the time, right? I mean, you just got to learn what to say. He's mad. Oh my God, you're the fifth agent. Fifth agent? I'm embarrassed. I mean, I'm embarrassed for our community. There are 30,000, whatever. We have 20,000, I think, in the whole, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they kind of chuckle a lot of times, right? You diffuse it. So that's because you're calling all the time. You can't get good at these if you haven't done it. I haven't made a cold call in 5-6 years. I don't know. I could still get on there and do it today because it's fun. To me, it's fun to go and build your business. It's fun to go and talk to a seller. And when you convert these people, you're so proud of yourself because you're like, wow, that was just, and here's the thing, only 5 or 10 or maybe 15 are calling. Phil DeMuth's the only one calling all the FSBOs, right? He is. Is he on this call today? He's mad at me right now. He's like, don't tell him the secret, but that's the reality, right? He listed 40 for sale by owners last year. I thought they could sell themselves.
Yeah.
They can, but what's a better strategy? Are they going to be better off with us in their corner? Can we give them a plan where they could still sell it themselves and save the commission, but then we can sell it alongside them too. And whoever sells it first wins. And it's going to be us, right? And they're going to be happy to not get, but if you don't fall in love with the art of this every single day, this magical script, people will text me all the, can I have that script book? Absolutely. Here it is. The scripts are not going to do anything for you. This is garbage right now. The value is you deciding you're going to become a professional, deciding you're going to do the hard, deciding to have a schedule, deciding that you're going to make $500,000 a year, and then getting your butt on the phones every day. And it's hard, but it's profitable. And it's something you'll be so proud of, right? So good. You want to practice an expired? Let's have him do it. This will be, we'll wrap it up with this. Come on. No, come on, let's do it. Do it. Just do a quick one. I'll be so nice. You want a script? You got a script?
Let me.
I don't, this is a different one. This is my words again, so it might trip you up.
Yeah.
It'll trip. See, but this will be good because this will be him new using that script, right?
No, I had 2 of your books.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Yeah, I had 2 of them.
Okay, good. All right, ready?
Let's see. Okay. Let me make sure I got my first. Okay, ring.
Hello?
Hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street?
Yeah, are you a realtor?
Yes, I am. This is Sean McFarland with EXP. How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Great. So I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I noticed that 123 Main Street fell off the market. When are you planning on hiring the right agent?
We actually already talked to a couple people, so I think we're good.
Okay, I totally get it. Quick question though. What do you think stopped your property from selling?
We put it on the market too quickly, and I think that we didn't do some of the improvements we probably should have. So now we're going to take it off the market. We're going to do some of the improvements, and then I think I'm going to go a different direction.
Okay. When's your time frame of moving?
Well, we don't have any timeline. We were just going to buy new construction when this sold. So we figured we would go into temporary housing in the interim.
Okay, so are you guys still open to taking interviews?
I think we're good. I talked to 2 more agents before the house came off the market, and I think we've made our decision.
Okay, so how about this? The agent you had before, I can't tell you what he did. I'm sure he did his best he could possibly do to try to sell your home.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I told you I had a different approach that could net you the money that you want?
Well, I don't know what you could do so differently.
How about this? Tomorrow, afternoon or morning, whichever one works for you, I come and I explain and we see it from there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we're all set.
Okay. Does Saturday 2 o'clock work for you?
So wait, now what about, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
I missed that. I was like, come on, that's what you
Okay,
learned
that's
today.
the part.
Let's try
Really
that.
close. Yeah.
I'm gonna be in your neighborhood
I'm
later
gonna
today.
be in your neighborhood Saturday around 2 o'clock. Does that work for you to have a quick meeting?
Yes, it does. Again, he's gonna get better and better and better and better and just knock it out of the park the more he calls.
Yeah.
So he's in the field playing,
Yeah.
right? He's playing every single day. He's playing the game. That's the game. So now you could build the business. This is how you build the business for a really low cost. You could also buy the business. You can go buy leads, right? I mean, that's not a bad thing to do. If I had money when I first came to Raleigh, I would buy leads. I mean, but to buy leads, you're also going to run into leads that are sellers and leads that are buyers. So guess what you have to do? Convert them, get really good at sales calls and sales skills. And the leads are all cold. To me, unless someone calls you and says, come list my home, everything's a cold lead, everything. So you guys, like a lot of times we think, well, I'm going to do my leads through KV Core. Those are worse. These are better. At least they're literally raising your hand. You guys are driving by for sale by owners. You're driving around and passing up $10,000, $15,000. Like, I'm not going to call them. Why? Right? Why? They're literally the leads are all in front of you. It's just, we all want to go to something that's less painful. So good job. Good job. All right. Any questions? Because we're running over in our online world. All you lovely people online. Did they have any questions, Tim? Anybody here have questions? This is a mastermind. We're supposed to mastermind. Kidding.
Do we have time for a quick buyer conversion moment where you inspire somebody that's frustrated and has quit but has money, like they are ready?
I'm the worst at it, but maybe. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't work with buyers a lot because I wanted to focus on listings. Why? Because they were less time consuming. I mean, I could, do we want to role play? I don't know.
Can I say?
Yeah.
I used to buy leads from Zillow. And what I realized, I made 90K last year from buying leads, whatever. That's all great. But the thing about it is, man, buyers are liars and buy stuff. You just need to. No, I'm so serious. They're going to fall into your lap when you have a bunch of listings. And that's what made me realize, like, I really have to work hard again.
Yeah.
Because it sucks so bad, hoping and praying that this person finds a home that they love. When it's a lot easier, somebody has to sell their house. You know what I'm saying?
I love Zillow leads.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorite things that being on the team that I'm on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm closing one last month, this month, and next month already, so.
And buyers are not liars. They're just frustrated. I mean,
it's tough.
buyers are fine. I mean, I did work with them, but I got so good at the listings that I didn't have to work with them. So it was, and then my buyers that I did work with were sellers. But I think buyers today, they want to hear something different. I think even calling leads, it's like, I tell my team all the time, people call, oh, I'm just looking. Have you heard about our just looking program? Right? I mean, you have to get your offer sucks. That's why people don't want to talk to you. Right? So we have to just,
that today.
there you go. Have you heard about, that's perfect. Have you heard about, because, and I learned that just like by listening to podcasts, right? So buyers are frustrated, but you got to think about, how do I change the language that I'm using with them? Hey, Mr. Buyer, if you're looking at the homes that are already on MLS, you're late to the party. Most of the homes that sold, we sell them off market. So have you heard about our perfect home finder list? Nope, I haven't. Okay, great. Well, why don't we get together? I know you're probably having, buyer fatigue in this market. It's very normal, but our team, we average only 3 offers, whatever it is, right? We average 3 offers, and then we've got you under contract. So know your team stats, know your own personal stats. We get buyers all the time that have been with other agents that wrote 15, 16, 17 offers, and then we get them locked down in 1 or 2. Because the hard part is, this is why masterminding is important. If you're a party of 1 and you're alone in the market, you have 1 person's experience to go off of. But when you're in groups and we're all talking about the due diligence and what we're getting and what's winning and what's not, it helps us become better advisors, right, to these buyers. So I think that's what's helpful when we all collaborate and communicate. So
Michelle Thompson is asking, are there any tips on reaching out to homeowners who have never had a for sale or expired? However, you have buyers that are interested.
So that would be a circle dial. And that would be in our circle dial call. You basically just call and say, hey, this is Tina Caul. I'm a local real estate agent. We just sold again, and we can be the collective community of agents. We just sold a couple homes in your neighborhood and we have buyers looking to buy. Who might you know that's thinking of selling? Have you heard of anybody? They're always, usually they'll say, no, unless you get the neighborhood chatty Cathy and, you know, she's like, yes, Susie down the street. And you're like, sweet. So usually they say no, and you go, gosh, thank you for thinking about that. Well, since I have you on the phone, you're the only person that answered today. I would love to know like a little more about you, like what brought you here to Raleigh, or how long have you lived in your home? That's usually what I would say. How long have you lived in your home? And they'll usually say, you know, 5 years. Really, what brought you here to Raleigh? Where did you move from? I moved from Wake Forest. Oh, well, that's cool. So you didn't go very far, you know, whatever. You're just kind of having conversation. And then you might just say, hey, well, it's been so good talking to you today, Sally. Have you yourself ever thought about diversifying your assets? Have you ever thought about pulling money out of your home and maybe buying an investment property? I'm just going to keep digging until I find something that I can help this person with. And then if not, I might say, you know, that's awesome. I have this amazing vendor list. I would love to email you our vendor list. I find that that's one of the things that my past clients call me about all the time is great contractors. Would that be helpful for you? Whatever, just keep coming from value instead of hanging up the phone, build a little relationship, and then ask them to stay in touch about their asset, their value, and you'll just keep building these lists of people. But these activities, they don't work unless you do. They don't work unless you're so consistent. And I used to have on my board consistency. I love the results, right? Because my job was to get in and embrace repetitious boredom. This is the most boring job in the world, right? You're basically an ISA. It's boring, isn't it, at times?
It's very boring.
Boring, right? You got to make
But it's rewarding.
It's
when someone
rewarding.
does listen.
It is the, yeah. I mean, I used to have music on and, you know, I used to try to dance. It was like, I'm just calling. Sometimes you would be in there for an hour and nobody would answer. That is so boring, especially for us realtors who we like a lot of activity and enthusiasm, and we're like, you know, squirrel. We like to be out and about. We like to be with people. The problem is we do so much busy work that we don't get anything done. And so we have to like lock ourselves in a room and focus and take away every distraction, because we're very distracted people, and then the magic happens. So you're embracing this boring, repetitious job that's highly profitable. So if you want to make a lot of money, this is one way that you can do it.
Before in my career until I started, you know, training with Tina, and we did a call night, which, by the way, I would love to get started again. If anybody else is interested in here, we used to compete with the other office, the Raleigh office, Cary office. I thought it was so fun. So I had never done cold calling. I was like, all right, I'm cheerleading this. We're going to do it. And there was a 100-acre piece of property that one of my developers had asked me about. And I found out through the grapevine that the owner had passed away. And I was like, well, I'm definitely not calling them. Absolutely not calling them. That's terrible. That's like an ambulance chaser right there. So I waited and I waited. And then finally I was like, you know what? It's been a while. I found the person. I found the son. And I called and I was like, hey, you know, sorry for the interrupt. I was so nervous. You know, I was kind of negative myself.
Yeah.
He literally said, I'm so glad you called. We're dealing with the estate and I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm helping this person. Like I did, it went from, I'm sorry, I'm bothering you, to
Right.
I am the person that you need to talk to.
That's right.
And we've kept in touch for 6 months. I just talked to him this week, just followed up again. He's like, we're still dealing with this estate stuff, but thank you so much for following up. We'll definitely call you as soon as we get done. And I'm like, that's going to turn into a big deal. And
Right.
it just took me, like you said, getting over myself and feeling like, I'm sorry,
Ego,
I'm sorry I'm bothering you.
Right.
And then to find out that the person on the other end of the line was like, thank you. I don't know where to turn. We're just now dealing with the estate stuff. Can you please call me back? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so little things like you were saying, when you do talk to somebody, follow up with a handwritten note, stick your business card in there that's a magnet, so that they're like, oh, this is the person I talked to. We'll just keep up with that.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
It's just little daily habits. That's it. That's the magic sauce.
So if anybody's interested in doing a call night, raise your hand. We will get those back going. I know I am. So Karen, we were doing it at first, but I think we can probably move it to where it's not. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We did it, like I said, at our old office. We had pizza, we had wine. It was a good time, and
If they're
Have
booze,
fun.
booze, I'm in.
Here's booze, he's in. Sometimes we do.
What are some of the podcasts that you love?
So, oh my gosh, there was, oh my gosh, what was the other one? What's his name? listen to them all the time. It's called Top Agent Podcast. I forget the guy that runs it, and I used to listen to that all the time. What's the other one? I have it here. Put me on the spot now. I got to think of these things. Here they are. Podcasts, not bigger. I have listened to bigger podcasts, not so much for real estate training, but I do love Bigger Pockets. What's the one? I do listen to the Tom Ferry podcast all the time. Yeah. No, where's the
Ruth is a good one too.
Ricky is good. Ricky is funny because, you know, when you listen to him, he's so soft. Like he's just so like, he'll tell people he'll come out and clean their yard and do all, and like, that's not happening, Ricky. So, what is the guy's name? I'll put it in our groups. Oh, Real Estate Rock Stars. That's it. Real Estate Rock Stars. I love that one. You're not gonna like this, the GSD mode podcast. It's Get Shit Done. That's a really good one too. Yep. And then GSD mode.
Is the role play line from Michigan still, is
Yeah.
that still going? I
Yeah.
forgot that.
7:30 every morning.
They do role playing every morning at 7:30 for 30 minutes.
I'll
You
give
can
them
just
the
listen
call.
to This whole group role play back and forth.
Mhm.
They do curse a bit too, but.
They do. The morning role play call is on 7:30 every morning. Here's the number to it. You can just go in, be a fly on the wall. 248-803-0656. And it's my friend Kurt Shewell, who's 7:30. I call him my grandpappy. I'm his granddaughter at EXP, but he runs that every morning at 7:30. So like Al Abdallah's on there. Al has a great story. In fact, I'm going to interview more of these cold call people that just literally, you know, sit on the phones all day and do this. So we'll do that with Al. He's awesome. Yeah. Oh, it's 248-803-0656.
I would listen to it. I was getting ready in the mornings, and it was so funny. One of the persons I listened to, it was during the winter, and I guess they had a bunch of snow, and the guy was like giving him such, you know, they were role playing on him trying to get the listing, and the guy was like, "There's like 3 feet of snow in the driveway. Nobody's coming." Like he was giving him such pushback, and he just kept firing out.
It's
very
good.
entertaining.
And this Friday, just know every first Friday of the month, Jackie Kravitz, who used to be one of my coaches for a little while, she's doing our for sale by owner and expired training. So she does script training Fridays at 11, first Friday of every month. And she was a Mike Ferry coach for years. She was a MAPS coach for 10 years. She just went off on her own and she has her own little coaching company. But so she's doing that for us because she's joined our company. And so that's her way of giving back. So I think that's pretty cool. So I wouldn't miss that one.
And that's on Zoom as well.
That's on Zoom as well. Yep. Yep. So you'll see that in our Freedom Builders Facebook group and the newsletter. And if you guys aren't on the newsletter, make sure you let us know because, or look in your spam because everyone's on it. I have everyone's email from EXP. That's the thing. If your email at EXP points to another email, it might be ending up in spam. So just check your EXP email because that's where it's going to go to. That's the only way we can keep track of all y'all.
Okay. Any other questions?
What question? What books are you reading?
Oh my God, what books am I not? Here's a great book. I brought it because I wanted to show you guys today. Thank you for reminding me. Fanatical Prospecting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So this is one thing that one of my coaches said, we all read a lot of books and then we forget what they say. I mean, who's read a book and then you're like, what did I just read? So pick 3 or 4 books, maybe one on life, maybe one on marriage, maybe one on prospecting, maybe one on business for the year. Read those books and become masters at what they're delivering. And I was like, oh, what a great thing to, think about. Like I remember reading the Red Book, right, at KW, and I read that thing like so many times to try to team build, and I kept reading it over and over and over again. So that's the thing. It's like, get a book, but read it over and over and over again, become a master at the content. And then that will actually help you become a better leader in the future, right? When you have agents that are with you and you just have all of that downloaded into your brain, that will just help you. So this is the next book I'm going to read again and again.
And if you're not an avid reader or a long book reader, Go for No is the quickest read in the history.
Go for No.
Go
Yeah.
for No. And
Go
it's
for No is
very
great.
inspiring, and you can read it again and again, and it helps me.
Yes.
And I learned about it from Sharon and Kelly.
It's a great book. That's a Go for No is a great book.
And Ninja Selling.
Ninja Selling is fantastic. That's a very relational book. Again, when you start building all these lists and people and you start selling homes, then that piece, that relationship piece really comes into play too, because we are all building relationships, but it's just, how do I get more people in my pipeline? And this is the fastest way to do it. Hardest, but fastest.
I have a question. For anybody that does hold on pretty religiously, do you print out your list at the beginning of the week? Do you check the do not call
Daily.
history every day?
So-
Like, what is like the true process? that
Yeah.
you do for
So
that?
every night at, every evening at 12 PM or 12 AM, whatever it is, the list is scrubbed and it's right in your inbox in the morning. So if you use Mojo or RedX or whatever, they scrub the list. So they scrub for do not call. And so it's just there waiting for you in the morning. The fresh expires, the fresh FISBOs, and you just go for them. And, maybe start calling them warm calls instead of cold calling. I think that's where everything's a cold call. You call a lead that you buy on wherever, Facebook, Instagram, wherever the leads, they're all cold. So just call it warm, because it is warm. Warm and fuzzy calling.
Or outreach.
We're gonna rename it.
It's outreach.
Outreach,
If you-
yeah.
if you
It's
need to
business
re-
building time, right?
if you
It's,
need to rename it.
that's right. I'm building my business time. I've got time. I'm not, because that's the thing. Oh, you got to do that cold calling. It sounds awful. It's like, no, I've got to build my business today. I got to go help lots of sellers and lots of buyers, find properties, sell their homes. So it's just how we rework. I used to call it money time. Like, it's money time. It's smile, dial, make a pile time. That's what we used to say, right? So, all right.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all in the world.
Awesome. Y'all will